some point in the night, there were what I can only audibly describe as a shopping cart race happening. Not a good night's sleep. So the destination tonight is a Cracker Barrel in Virginia, right outside of DC pretty much. This is leg one of two on our way from New Jersey to North Carolina for my second Sisters on the Fly event, Thursday through Sunday. Here goes. I think this is the first Sprinter van I've seen used by Amazon. Normally they're ProMasters. That's a first. Well, the restaurant is still open. Not loving the parking lot. I don't see any RV spots designated. How do I feel about this? How do I feel? Don't love it. Don't love it. Can't lie. I'd like it if there were just more around it rather than it being the end of a dead-end street. But there's a hotel right here, so I'll sit here and see how I feel. For safety reasons, I did stop about 7 minutes up the road to gas up, walk the dog, let her pee, and basically stretch out a little bit then, so that when we got here to park overnight that I wouldn't need to walk her around and it'd be obvious that I'm in the van. Granted, the lights are on and I'm sure it's visible from the outside. There's still like patrons in the restaurant and such. Just trying to get used to the idea of this. I'd feel a lot better if there were other RVs in the lot. There just aren't. Another thing bothering me on the way down, and it could have been just so much traffic in this DC like metro area, but like I was smelling, I felt like oil or something here and there, and it kind of freaked me out. I'm always listening for sounds and smelling for smells in a used van. It's a concern of mine. I worry. I've turned off the big lights and I just have my little lantern here, still actually hooked to the wall. I just don't want it to be obvious that I'm really in here from the outside with too much light. So I am just in the process of cleaning my face. I can say that normally if I'm at a campground, I don't set my alarm. Here at this restaurant parking lot, I will set it tonight, but I can guarantee you I will set it off in the morning. Let's hope I don't do that. So normally I do prepare my coffee at night. It's just dark, so it's a little romantic vibe we've got going on in here. And this is my new coffee pot that I put in here just because it's a lot bigger and I can boil some water. I can drink more coffee and probably make coffee for others if they're outside of my, you know, if other people that are camping with me need more coffee. But I can also boil water for my shower, and that's pretty fantastic. All right, so that's set for the morning. It's not hooked. I have to remember that. This is my little, if you hadn't seen it, this is my grater lamp that I made out of just a USB charged light, which is kind of cool, and it can do a flame and a like hour, 2 hour type of thing. Set it now. There, now it's set. I have pulled my toilet out of my shelving unit here, and I am going to leave this curtain right where it is. Normally I would open this and kind of leave the curtain open at night with the toilet out, but if I need to leave for any reason quickly, I'm going to do that. I will also shut out my light before I use the toilet because there are little cracks and holes and such. For instance, this covering that I made, how I used to hold it were little suction cups with hooks in here. But right now that is probably seen as a tiny little hole of light from the outside. Also, I did call into this Cracker Barrel and I asked them if they had free overnight RV parking, and they said they do. So there's no signs of any nature in the parking lot, but that makes me feel a little bit better. So at least a cop won't come knocking. So let's just hope nobody else does.
I've turned the lights back on bright because at this point I'm calmed down now. I think at first I was a little sketched out or whatever the word is, but I'm fine, especially after I called Cracker Barrel and they said I'm good to go to sleep here. I feel much better. There was literally a noise outside of the back of the van, which of course happened once I got up. Otherwise I would have looked out the back windows. I don't see anything out of my rear views, or my side windows rather. It sounds like somebody's like beating a rug. When you hold a rug up and you beat, you know, in the movies when they're beating it with some kind of a broom or something. That's what it sounds like. I can't figure out what it is. I don't see anybody. I keep hearing it. We'll see if we hear it again while this is recording. I have to stop and remind myself that the travel is part of the trip. Like, it is part of the experience. That's probably when I'm most in my van, is during the travel. So I really try to slow down and appreciate that aspect of it.
This is the light that I put in and I posted last week about. The others I haven't decided where to put them yet, but it's pretty bright, right? Maybe this one's inside. Well, it definitely makes it brighter. That's a lot better. All right, maybe we'll just do that and it'll just be a dimmer light. So in any case, it's a little bit early for bed, or maybe I'm just a little jazzed up, but Greta's made herself comfortable. I actually don't know if you can really see her. She has a little blanket in here just because when she is in her like blowing her coat stages, her hair is too insane to let her up in my bed for sure. She's never in my bed because I don't think I can't tolerate that. I don't think. Also, because I know you're wondering, my husband laughs at me because he says on my videos when I show myself getting up in the morning, he laughs because he says YouTubers, I don't consider myself that, but maybe, you know, they go through all this stuff where they're like, oh, and they're yawning like they just woke up, knowing full well they got up out of their bed to set that camera up. But I don't do that. I have this, if you can see it, it is basically hooked on my shelf and it's a curly cue that I can switch. And I mount my phone in here so I can watch Netflix or whatever. It's also where I know where my phone is at night if I need it. If I'm recording anything, like some of my good mornings, which I'll try to spare you this week, that is where I keep it. I don't have to do any extra efforts. So you don't have to make fun of me. Good night. So last night I can only describe what I heard in this Cracker Barrel parking lot as a shopping cart race. That was just what I heard. I did not get up to look. My body was like in this fight or flight type of decision making, half asleep, and I know my fists were clenched and something was trying to figure out what to do, but my mind was like, no, we are much too tired for this. I don't know what my threshold is for like when I get concerned or when I get in the driver's seat and just drive. It's definitely correlated with Greta's reaction, and she had none. She was awake and she had no reaction whatsoever. And I tried to roll over and go back to sleep, which I ultimately did. I also realized this morning that I was not parked in the RV and camper parking. I somehow drove right by it when I drove in last night, and I went to the brightest section of the parking lot. And I'm kind of still glad I did, because it was a bright section of the parking lot. It was a little more, I don't want to say remote, but it was a little more off to the side, whereas the RV parking, all those lights are out. And it seemed to be just in that little spot for the RVs, you know, the long spots. I don't know if that's to give those folks just a little bit of darkness. I don't know, but those lights are out, so I would have probably have chosen the same thing again if I stayed here. Again, I don't know, would you have stayed here?